It's a very good evening, Zimbabwe. Welcome to the news. My name is Sibigela Maposa. This broadcast coming to you live from our Montrose news desk. Susan Masona is on the sign language desk. Let's take a look at tonight's headlines. 3,000 suspects nabbed as government cracks down on illicit drug networks. In business news, tobacco prices begin to firm as government orders all licensed merchants to buy the golden leaf. And in sport, Zimbabwe handed a fair assignment in the 2027 AFCON qualifiers. Those are the headlines. Let's take a look at the news in detail. President Emmerson Mnangagwa's drive to promote community development through village and school business units is bearing fruit, with the Rural Industrialization Initiative playing a key role in ensuring food security and employment creation.
The Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa Youth Service and Vocational Training Center Business Unit here in Igava Village, Mashonaland East Province, has proved to be a major boost for youth empowerment and institutional self-sustainability. So far, the institution is currently harvesting a crop of cabbages, with the use being directly supplied to local markets and retail outlets.
Farming is business, as far as farming is business. Nekuda kwa project atakapuwa tiri kuti tiite tinafarira zvizhinji.
Chirongwa ichi chakaonekwa na president chakanakisa. Ndaimboziva kuti mari iri kumusha.
Takanzwa kusununguka zvizhinji, takafara nokuti pasi pano chete patakaitirwa izvozvo. Kana kuma village kwedu tina magarden iwaya tichiri kutoashanda.
Tina mabhoho edu VBU anokwana kuita mashanu. Imo muno mudore chishaniri. Vari kudzidza vana vedu vachidzidza kuti kuzviriritira kunowanikwa nenzira iyi yekurima.
Izvezvi makebheji iwaya akatoitwa zvamanje manje akutotengeswa. Saka ndo zvimwe zvezvinhu zvatiri kuona kuti ukange uine mvura unokwanisa kubatsirika pandima diki woita mari.
The institution has also successfully ventured into commercial aquaculture, stocking its ponds with 8,000 fingerlings.
Ipo zvino tine mafish pond edu anokwana kuita 4. Rimwe chete rinenge rakameasure 20 by 10. Mumwe chete mufish pond munenge mune fish dzinokwana kuita 2,000.
Tichinge tichiharvesta fish dzichabatsira kuti kana dzatengeswa dzinge dzichibatsira kunge tichiriritira vana vedu vanenge vachiuya kutraining center pano.
Project implementing partners who are satisfied with progress have ensured that there is ready market for the produce.
Tinofara kuti chirongwa ichi chava kubetsera venharaunda ino, kwete kuti ingova sustenance chete, asi kuti vavaone nzvimbo yekudzidzira vachiita iyo yatinoti skills development.
What we've done as the authority is to get off-take agreements with retail markets surrounding Marondera, so that they can be able to sell their produce to a formal retail market.
The establishment of school business units, vocational training center business units, and village business units across the country is part of government's industrialization agenda aimed at transforming rural economies. The President, Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, has on several occasions emphasized the importance of this rural industrialization thrust.
I urge us all to keep our membership well mobilized and informed towards increasing production and productivity at community level upwards in all sectors. We all bear the duty and responsibility to improve our quality of life, household by household, and community by community. ZANU-PF should lead from the front and ensure that our people keep being focused, vigilant, and resilient.
Government has set a target to establish 35,000 village business units across the country, with every educational institution expected to adopt the concept to ensure sustainability, food security, and employment creation. John Nandara, ZBC News, Marondera.
Government says it has made progress in disrupting illicit drug supply networks, with 3,000 suspects having been arrested and taken to court. This emerged during this week's post-cabinet briefing in Harare this Tuesday.
From political to social to economic development, these are some of the issues that were tabled in this week's cabinet sitting. According to the Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Dr. Jemusoda, the scourge of drug and substance abuse within the country was an issue that was discussed at length.
The Zimbabwe National Committee on Drug and Substance Abuse is implementing a multi-sectoral drug and substance abuse plan running from 2024 to 2030, which is tailored to mitigate and ultimately eliminate the drug and substance abuse scourge in Zimbabwe. The committee coordinates actions across government ministries, law enforcement and private sector, and seeks to achieve set targets through 7 strategic pillars, which are as follows: supply chain reduction, demand reduction and prevention, harm reduction, treatment and rehabilitation, psychosocial support and community reintegration, resource mobilization and economic strengthening, media and communication, and legal and policy reforms. The committee is successfully disrupting illicit supply networks and has achieved significant milestones.
I want to thank the President for availing through the Ministry of Finance in the 2026 budget, setting aside 1 billion ZIG, which is meant to mitigate and make sure that we deal with the 5 remaining centers. You need also to appreciate that over and above the budget, the Minister of Finance has put in place also quite a number of interventions like the sugar tax and many other taxes.
Interventions that have been made within the water and sanitation hygiene sector were also tabled before a cabinet.
The Interministerial Committee on Water, Sanitation and Hygiene, commonly known as the WASH National Committee, is implementing an integrated multi-sectoral and whole-of-government approach for sectoral policy and strategy development. The committee is also implementing a number of projects and programs, and the following notable milestones have been achieved in the following broad areas. 1, development of a multiplicity of sectoral policy interventions such as the National Sanitation and Hygiene Policy and Strategy, WASH Compact, WASH in healthcare facilities, insurance strategy for rural water supplies, and others. Number 2, access to potable water in rural areas improved from 71% in 2016 to 81% in 2025.
The Cabinet also deliberated and approved the proposal to host Zimbabwe's first ever Creative Economy Expo at the ZITF grounds in Bulawayo in October this year.
Kuzana, a Zimbabwean Tonga word meaning to dance or to play, serves as the perfect unifying title for the inaugural Sport Creative Economy Expo. The Expo seeks to position Zimbabwe as a regional hub for sports and creative economy development by 2030 while unlocking the economic potential of the 2 sectors. The Expo will run under the theme, and I quote, Kuzana, towards Vision 2030 through sports and creative industries, close quote.
As June the 3rd fast approaches towards elections for non-permanent seats to the United Nations Security Council, Cabinet also deliberated progress that the country has made in its bid for this non-permanent seat. It also deliberated on Zimbabwe's participation at Expo 2027 Belgrade, as well as the economic performance of the country in the first quarter of 2026. Olina Ndori, ZBC News, Harare.
Vice President General retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga says Zimbabwe benefited from its participation in the 13th session of the World Urban Forum in Baku, Azerbaijan.
Vice President General retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga was in Baku, Azerbaijan, where he led the Zimbabwean delegation at the 13th session of the World Urban Forum, which focuses on promoting sustainable urban housing development projects. In an interview with ZBC News at the end of his visit, Vice President Chiwenga said he was impressed with the discussions held at the forum.
We always talk about three basic needs of a person: shelter, food, water. Together we can come up with implementable plans of bringing accommodation to our people, bringing jobs to our people. That's why you found in every statement the issue of innovation, job creation, replanning of our cities.
But to what extent can this forum, which is held every 2 years, create an environment for Zimbabwe to forge ahead with sustainable urban housing development projects?
The most important message that we got from here is that the initiative must be taken by individual countries. And in our country, government alone cannot tackle this issue of accommodation. It must be a private government, private sector, or public sector partnerships. So we need to bring this idea of working together to all our people across the board.
The 13th session of the World Urban Forum created a platform for Zimbabwe to also learn how global economies are expanding cities by adopting modern infrastructure projects. Stanley James, ZBC News, Baku.
Government says public participation on the Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 was overwhelming as thousands of views were submitted for consideration, with the review process having started in earnest.
This place was a hive of activity for the past 90 days as the church denominations, individuals and groupings had to submit their views regarding the Constitutional Amendment number 3 bill.
The 90 days ended last night at midnight, and we begin the process now of going through the submissions one by one and analyzing the content that's coming from the public, because that's the whole idea of the 90 days, to receive the submissions from the public. You recall we had the public hearings, then we had hard copies that were coming to Parliament, we also had submissions that were coming through email. So all of them, we had already started with the ones that came from the public hearings and going through the submissions that were coming in hard copy as they were coming in. So now we are dealing with the ones that came last minute. And I can assure you the participation from the public has been very overwhelming. We've never received submissions like this, and we're very grateful to the citizens of Zimbabwe. And we are happy as Parliament because it confirms that we put in place mechanisms to enable the public to participate.
The process of reviewing submissions made by the public over the 90-day period has begun at Parliament Building.
We are going through each and every submission and looking at the contents that are coming from those submissions. The committees will be sitting to look at those submissions and to categorize them in terms of how they are coming from the public. Thereafter, they'll finalize the consolidation of the submissions to come up with their report that will then be presented at the second reading stage of the bill. The next stage will be the minister will formally now present the bill in Parliament.
The parliamentary process will allow the Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, Honorable Ziyambi Ziyambi, to go for the first reading, which entails the reading out of the title of the bill. The second reading will follow and will trigger debate within parliamentarians. Among other provisions, the Constitutional Amendment number 3 Bill seeks to amend the electoral cycle from 5 to 7 years for the President, councillors and legislators. It also entails the President appointing 10 more senators to ensure the number goes to 90, while allowing the setting up of the Zimbabwe Delimitation Commission. Bruce Chawanda, ZBC News, Parliament Building.
Zimbabwe Indigenous Interdenominational Council of Churches has called upon Zimbabweans to remain united as Parliament processes on the Constitutional Amendment number 3 bill take effect. This was the rallying call from the chairperson of the council, Reverend Andrew Wutawunashe, in an interview with ZBC News in Harare this Tuesday.
As the church, we wanted to commend the people of Zimbabwe for the way they conducted themselves in giving their views, and we also want to say to the parliamentarians, you have the mandate of the people to, by being elected members, to forward their opinions, not only by the mandate of the election, but by the mandate of what you heard the people saying. As the church, if we still don't say to everybody, let us be peaceful, let us, even if there are different opinions, know that we are all patriots and that we are one people, and we must continue in unity and give room for this path of democracy to actually take place. And finally, as the church, we urge the nation to be prayerful and to pray even for this stage and to say to the Lord, give wisdom to our parliamentarians so that what is going to be of benefit to our nation will come out of this vote that is coming.
Zimbabwean women in the judicial sector continue to lift the national flag high, with the most recent one being the appointment of Justice Lavender Makoni to the Commerce Tribunal.
Women drawn from the judicial sector gathered in Harare this Tuesday to celebrate one of their own, Justice Lavender Makoni, who was recently appointed to the Commerce Tribunal. In her address, Chief Justice Elizabeth Gwaunza underscored the judiciary's commitment to upholding the rule of law and enhancing efficiency in the administration of justice.
We need not fear. She's the first woman from Zimbabwe to represent us on the in the Commerce Court of Justice. It's a great achievement. It's good that we are celebrating this. I really commend us for coming up with this idea to show appreciation. We are behind here, but it also makes a leader that a lot of us might wish to emulate, and that is very good for us.
Speaking to this news crew, Justice Makoni highlighted the significance of her appointment to Zimbabwe.
My appointment to the Commerce Court of Justice is a milestone in the history of Zimbabwe, in that I'm the first woman to be appointed to the Commerce Court of Justice. All along, it has been the male judges. For Zimbabwe, my main thrust will be to have the Commerce Court of Justice do awareness campaigns in this country for our judiciary, our lawyers, to get to know more about this court. Because from the jurisprudence that I've read from that court, we do not have any matters coming from Zimbabwe.
The Commerce Tribunal is the judicial board of the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, of which Zimbabwe is a member. It interprets the Commerce Treaty, resolves disputes between member states and commerce institutions. Her appointment comes at a time when Zimbabwe is celebrating the growing prominence of women in the judicial service, with the key institutions such as Attorney General's Office, Prosecutor General's Office, and the Judicial Service Commission, now led by women. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
Economists say that government's ease of doing business and regulatory fees reforms are set to increase investments in the country's industry. Let's get the details.
In a bid to dismantle bureaucratic red tape and reduce compliance costs to make local industries more competitive, government last year announced the ease of doing business and regulatory fees reforms, which has resulted in the slashing of several licenses and compliance fees, with sectors such as tourism, agriculture, mining and transport already benefiting from the policy stance.
We've covered the 13 sectors that we set out to cover in the first place. They ought to benefit from this program of reducing the cost of doing business. We are, putting the law in place using statutory instruments to make sure that we can put the force of law.
On its part, business says the reforms have significantly transformed the regulatory landscape, which in turn has enhanced market activity.
If you were to make a comparison today with same time last year, the environment has shifted quite very markedly, and doing business certainly is better. The work which has been done, especially in cutting the procedures, in cutting the costs, and also dealing with the uncertainties around be it registration of businesses, be it even the issue of dealing with efficiency regarding interface between business and state-owned enterprise is markedly improved.
With Zimbabwe being the first country in the region to implement such an economic reform sector by sector, economic analyst Mr. Marlon Gwadu is of the view that investment in the local industry is poised to increase.
The benefits are reduced costs for business, and by derivation it's supposed to make services as well as production much cheaper, which enhances the competitiveness of the industry of concern, be it mining, agriculture, across the whole economy. So the cost base or the cost drivers of the economy are poised to reduce.
Now, under the previous licensing regime, companies were required to take up to 30 different licenses before operations. And with these reforms in place, experts say new firms will now save approximately 21% of total overhead costs. Panasha Nagoli, ZBC News, Harare.
The construction of the Gwai Shingani Lake is not only transforming the country's water infrastructure, but also changing the lives of hundreds of workers through skills development.
The project here at Gwai Shingani Dam is not just about water. It's not just about constructing the dam, but something is happening behind the scenes, skills transfer. Ordinary people from around this area of Gwai, of Mabale, are learning a lot. Some of them, they had no skill at all. They just left a school and they were seated at home. But the coming in of this project has enabled them to acquire critical skills such as welding and carpentry. More than 500 workers are currently employed at the massive Gwai Shingani Lake project.
ndokwanisa kuita shattering, grouting, zvose ndokwanisa ndamuzoziva kuti zvinhu zvinokwenda chini.
Ndakaba ruzivo rwinji rwakosiviri.
Mina sengucarpenter mfundele kona lapha eGwai Shingani kuba ngucarpenter ukuyakha ama-scaffold lamaphila la eliwabonayo la.
Experts say institutions of higher learning should partner with mega project contractors to ensure workers gaining skills receive formal qualifications at the completion of such projects.
It's high time the government agencies, Ministry of Labour, ZimDef and other government agencies which are in line with the employment of people to make sure that they tap this employment sector so that they get certified, also having trade tested as best per experience. They are gaining a lot of experiences.
The Gwai Shingani Lake project, which began at the inception of the Second Republic, is expected to be completed before the end of the year. Well, after this project, all these skills will remain serving this community. All these skills will take people from this area of Hwange, Lupane, and other surrounding districts to other places. Tichaona Kurewa, ZBC News, Hwange.
Artificial intelligence-driven grain marketing board silos have become an instant hit for private millers who are lining up to store grain through private third-party arrangements.
These are dozens of trucks waiting here to offload grain into the modernized and upgraded GMB silos here at the Aspindale depot. Private millers have resorted to use the upgraded and modernized grain silos, which has provided them with a lifeline to their business.
These silos are strategically located in grain-producing regions. So, millers are located in urban populated areas. So it's giving them an advantage in terms of logistics, where they don't have to move the maize, all of the maize crop to their silos immediately or to their milling facilities, but the maize can be stored as it is being done now by GMB in the strategically located silos in the maize producing regions.
And meanwhile, the Grain Marketing Board says farmers can utilize its network of more than 1,800 buying points dotted around the country for grain deliveries.
The Grain Marketing Board is mobilizing grain across all these facilities to ensure that farmers deliver closer to their farms, cutting on logistics costs. GMB, through these 1,804 mobile collection points, is also aggregating grain on behalf of millers, on behalf of stock feed manufacturers, and any other players that would want to come in and bring their grain.
Government is expecting yet another bumper harvest after a successful summer cropping season, which is expected to harness the national food security. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
For more news, you can log on to our website at www.zbcnews.co.zw, and you can also interact with us by visiting our X handle, our Facebook, and our YouTube page at ZBC News Online. Here are some stories to collect in the bulletin. Tobacco prices begin to firm as government orders all licensed merchants to buy the golden leaf. And in sports, Zimbabwe handed a fair assignment for the AFCON 2027 qualifiers draw in Egypt. We'll now take a break. Don't go away.
Experience the rhythm of Zimbabwe, the sound of our heritage, the heartbeat of our culture. The Ministry of Sport, Recreation, Arts and Culture, through the National Arts Council of Zimbabwe and the Ministry of Tourism and Hospitality Industry through the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority, proudly invite you to the Mbira Festival on the 23rd of May 2026 at 9 a.m. at Baradzanwa Cultural Center. Come and witness electrifying performances from renowned Mbira players, vibrant exhibitions by Mbira makers, players and sellers, and celebrations honoring legends who have preserved and promoted Zimbabwe's iconic traditional instrument. Discover the beauty of Zimbabwean culture, support local creatives, and immerse yourself in an unforgettable cultural tourism experience filled with music, heritage, and tradition. Zimbabwe through culture, Zimbabwe through tourism. Experience Zimbabwe, Naka yedu ilifa letu, our heritage. This is us, Zimbo.
Cicada unlocks EU financing and EU Zimtrade partnership benefits, thus enabling Isaac's farming business to flourish.
Kuminda benefits from EU Zimtrade partnerships, backing Taku's career, ensuring export quality.
2 hustles, 1 outcome. Everyone levels up together. From farms to cold rooms to global shelves, skills and teamwork are opening new paths every day. Stories of progress, wins worth celebrating.
We've always known what it takes to grow. But this is what it feels like to finally step inside the dream. It's that quiet moment when a room holds everything it used to be and everything it made possible. That this is actually mine feeling when the first payment hits. That pure adrenaline from a small space to an empire you rule. And when you said you'd almost sleep in your first car, we made sure you actually did. Plans may adapt, circumstances will evolve, but your growth, that's non-negotiable. Bank on growth with Stanbic Bank Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is our home, and we drive her growth.
Stanbic Bank is a registered commercial bank and a member of the Deposit Protection Scheme.
Alala sithakazele amasiko ethu mhla ka-21 kuNkwenkwezi unyanga yamasiko ethu. Umongameli wethu ubaba uMnangagwa uzoba ekhona engumhlonishwa eBaba Fields. Izigaba zonke zelizwe zizabe zithakazelela uhlelo lolu.
Cultural Diversity Advancing Vision 2030. Tiri kupembedza chivanhu chetu. Tiri kupembedza mapikiro etu. Tiri kupembedza ubuye betu. Munhu wasenda ti tudumduri, tudumduri. Bona tudumduri, 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 tudumduri. Same vibes, Scouts alive, savor the flavors. Here Satan and Yama thrive from Madura to Chimkuyu Nedovi, celebrating food from all corners of Zimbabwe, which brings us together. Diverse tongue unite us from Zambezi to Limpopo. Shona Zezuru Ndebele Kalanga, Ngoma Ichirira Chitamba Mandem Chongo Inishikisha. Our heritage is our pride, our stories, our customs, our fashion, our style on the show. May Zimbabwe Culture Month, our culture is our Tudumduri, tudumduri. Bona tudumduri, 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 tudumduri.
Umlayezo lo usilethelwe yi-Ministry of Sports, Recreation, Arts and Culture ibambene le-National Arts Council of Zimbabwe.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Zimbabwe's economic diplomacy and re-engagement drive has received a major boost after the commencement of formal negotiations for the country's membership to the new development bank and NDB, commonly known as the BRICS Bank.
The government of Zimbabwe has welcomed the decision by the new development bank, commonly referred to as the BRICS Bank, to begin formal negotiations for the country's membership into the institution. In a statement released on the 15th of this month, Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotions Minister Professor Mthunzini described the decision as a development towards Zimbabwe's engagement and re-engagement agenda. Analysts say the move signals growing confidence in Zimbabwe's economic reform trajectory and could provide the country with alternative development financing critical for infrastructure development, industrialization and development under the National Development Strategy 2.
It also allows Zimbabwe to diversify its eyes regarding its financial commitments and economic obligations, where it is no longer looking up to only the Western-based financial institutions like the IMF, the World Bank, and what have you. It also has been given a chance to diversify those alternatives.
The new development bank was established by BRICS member states to mobilize resources for infrastructure and sustainable development projects in emerging economies. Academic Dr. David Makwerere believes Zimbabwe stands to benefit in sectors such as transport infrastructure, digital transformation, mining value addition, climate change as well as the agricultural sector.
It positions Zimbabwe in a very strategic position, knowing that the BRICS is a global bloc with the interest in South-South cooperation, and I think it strategically positions the country to, service its own interest.
The development comes at a time when Zimbabwe is intensifying efforts to diversify investment partnerships and integrate into evolving global economic systems associated with BRICS economies and governments. Membership negotiations also align with the Second Republic's commitment to inclusive growth. Olina Ndori, ZBC News, Harare.
The Emergency Road Rehabilitation Program continues to modernize the country's road network system with the rehabilitation of a 16-kilometer stretch in Dema along Seke Road having commenced.
The rehabilitation works, financed to the tune of $13.6 million, involve asphalt surfacing while widening the road from 6 to 9 meters to accommodate increasing traffic volumes and provide a safer passage for motorists and pedestrians. The project is expected to ease mobility for communities, improve access to schools, health facilities and business centers, while also boosting economic activities in the Chanakira Dema area.
Vatungamiriri vari kutigadzirira road kufamba kwakuita nyore zvainga zvichinetsa kufamba kuenda kutown.
Tiriona pane improvement because road rugadziro road yanga yakashata singaiti but nemagadziro ari kuita zvokuratidza kuti ayo zvinhu zvese zvokuenda kumberi.
Aiwa tinotenda zvikuru nebasa rakanaka riri kuitwa munzvimbo yedu. Road kana yakadai yakasununguka tinotenda kuti tetakwanisa kufambawo zvakanaka.
The contractor works as the scope of the road rehabilitation program.
We are upgrading this road from a 6-meter to a 9-meter, where we are building the shoulders to the existing width. Then we rescarify the base to form base 1, and we add another base of crusher line. Then at the end, we are going to put a wearing surface of asphalt. The ongoing rehabilitation program forms part of broader infrastructure development initiatives being spearheaded by the Second Republic, with road modernization identified as key towards attaining an upper middle income society by 2030. The project reinforces government's commitment to delivering inclusive and sustainable development across the country.
As Zimbabwe intensifies efforts to preserve indigenous knowledge systems and unlock opportunities in the cultural economy, churches are emerging and embracing the Amais Traditional Cookout initiative as a platform for heritage preservation and entrepreneurship.
The preservation of traditional cuisine and the growing economic potential of gastronomy took center stage in Murewa this Monday as the United Methodist Church hosted the National Amai Traditional Cookout Finals. 48 contestants drawn from across the country participated in the event, with stakeholders acknowledging the competition's role in safeguarding Zimbabwean culture while creating opportunities through food tourism and entrepreneurship.
Yakatanga iri passion ndichingoonawo maadverts saka ndiri kufunga kuzoendera mberi nekustada zvekubika pamberi apo.
The program is also strengthening harmony between churches, communities and government while promoting religious tourism.
What it brings between us and the church is particularly harmony and maintenance of our culture, but also economic benefit. The impact of the economy, tourism economy in church is coming from religious tourism. But who is cooking for them? What is the church getting from the economy of tourism? So now, with these people who have been trained in Amais cookout competitions, they can now start their own restaurants in these churches.
Mashonaland East Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Advocate Itai Nduzo, said the program is empowering communities and helping grow provincial economies.
The competition has helped our economy grow by leaps and bounds every season, every year. We have new entrants and we have people gaining confidence to set up even their own businesses out of these programs.
Church leaders also commended the initiative for preserving cultural and family values.
Outside our culture,
gospel ratinoparidza rinofanira kunge richitora culture as one of the formative factors, and tichifamba pamwe chete tichiziva kuti our gospel is contextualized and rooted in our culture.
The winners will now proceed to the national contest in the interchurch category as the Amai traditional cookout finals set for Kwekwe later this month. Patience Nyagato, SABC News, Murewa.
As Zimbabwe strengthens economic stability, Parliament and International Monetary Fund are intensifying engagements on economic governance and accountability.
The Speaker of Parliament, Advocate Jacob Modena, this Tuesday met International Monetary Fund resident representative Dr. Daniel Gurara at Parliament Building in Mount Abden, where discussions centered on Parliament's oversight role under Zimbabwe's tough monitored program with the IMF. Dr. Gurara said the program is meant to help Zimbabwe consolidate macroeconomic stability while promoting sound public financial management and transparency.
We discussed about the role of the Parliament, especially in oversight role of the Parliament and what they can do together. Our main focus as an IMF, especially on our staff monitor program, is on public financial management, and the role of the Parliament in public financial management. As you know, the Parliament is very active in following up the Auditor General's report, and the committee is here. They also do their job in terms of evaluating those reports. So the Parliament is very active and very strong in that context. But in general, our role is mostly on economic governance, public financial management, and transparency.
The discussions reflect the country's ongoing efforts to strengthen economic governance, reinforce fiscal discipline, and improve prospects for future international financial support. Patience Nyagato, SABC News.
The news will now take a break, returning with business and the arts.
Cicada unlocks EU financing and EU Zimtrade partnership benefits, thus enabling Isaac's farming business to flourish.
Kuminda benefits from EU Zimtrade partnerships, backing Taku's career, ensuring export quality.
2 hustles, 1 outcome. Everyone levels up together. From farms to cold rooms to global shelves, skills and teamwork are opening new paths every day. Stories of progress, wins worth celebrating.
From 11 June to 19 July, everything can wait. The FIFA World Cup 2026. Catch all 104 matches from as little as $10. Live on SuperSport, only on DSTV.
Cicada unlocks EU financing and EU Zimtrade partnership benefits, thus enabling Isaac's farming business to flourish.
Kuminda benefits from EU Zimtrade partnerships, backing Taku's career, ensuring export quality.
2 hustles, 1 outcome. Everyone levels up together. From farms to cold rooms to global shelves, skills and teamwork are opening new paths every day. Stories of progress, wins worth celebrating.
Welcome back, and thanks again for staying with us. We now move on to business news. Tobacco prices have begun to firm at auction floors following government's directive to all licensed merchants to participate in the buying of the golden leaf. A visit to the floors this Tuesday revealed improved participation from buyers.
Several tobacco merchants have taken heed of government's call to come on board and participate at all the 3 auction floors. And according to the Tobacco Industry and Marketing Board Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Emmanuel Machaire, government interventions have impacted positively on the tobacco pricing matrix.
Tobacco sales floor today, it had 14 buyers that had joined the line. Also, premier auction floor, there is also a very big improvement, and there are 11 buyers. We are also sorting other key issues so that by the end of this week, everyone else that holds a Class A license will be participating on our auction floors.
The introduction of the second sale at premier tobacco auction floors to clear the long queues has brought relief to the farmers and the industry at large.
TMB has now responded and asked all the buyers to come on the auction floor, and they've also given us the second sale. And the auction floor from 7 o'clock to 2. So we should be able to clear my queues.
It is the hope of farmers that fairness and transparency will continue to prevail in the tobacco industry.
Because the highest price and only for the last 30, then the lowest price we are 65 cents.
The tobacco industry has since issued an ultimatum warning all tobacco buyers who do not participate at all the 3 auction floors that they will be penalized in terms of the Tobacco Act, Chapter 18, Section 2010. Dai Munengwa, ZBC News, Harare.
The National Social Security Authority, NASA, has awarded pensioners a once-off discretionary bonus equivalent to their monthly payments under its Pensions and Other Benefits Scheme and Accident Prevention and Workers' Compensation Scheme.
The discretionary bonus payments, which range from a minimum of $70 to a maximum of nearly $3,000, have already been paid out to the beneficiaries. NASA General Manager Dr. Charles Shala explained the logic behind the payout as it moves to cushion its pensioners.
This bonus is a statement of care to our pensioners. It demonstrates that as long as resources permit, NASA will always distribute all our income to our pensioners. We are in the process of actuarially evaluating our schemes to ensure that we give long-term pensions to our pensioners. But for now, whilst we are awaiting that long-term assessment, we felt we had enough resources that we could distribute to our pensioners, and therefore we gave them a discretionary bonus, which is equivalent to 1 month's payout. They have already received it in May. All of them now have received their pensions, and as is our tradition, we will still give them another bonus in November, December.
Dr. Shawa also highlighted the long-term plan for pensioners, noting NASA's commitment to improving their welfare while safeguarding the sustainability of the schemes.
Our investment income has grown over the past 4 years by over 1,000%. Our contributions are also growing, and all the financial fundamentals show that our scheme is very strong, so we are certainly able to sustain this trajectory. I want to assure our pensioners that we will always be on their side. I am aware that as we are talking now, they expect us to increase their pensions from the levels that we are now, and we assure them that as soon as our 3-year actuarial evaluation is completed by the end of this quarter, we will be reviewing their pensions. We are hoping very positively that we will be reviewing their pensions upwards.
The actuarial evaluation report, expected by the end of June, is set to guide future pension adjustments, contribution levels, and sustainability measures. Memory Chamisa, ZBC News, Harare.
Let's take a look at the art. Preparations for the Ekhaya Worship Festival are at an advanced stage, with organizers promising a powerful celebration of worship and unity as local and international gospel musicians gather in Bulawayo on Africa Day.
Award-winning gospel musician Everton Mlalazi says the stage is set for the Ekhaya Worship Festival, where Africa Day will be celebrated in praise and worship in Bulawayo on the 25th of this month.
We're so excited about Ekhaya Worship Festival, and there is many, artists, local artists and international artists. I think the beauty about it is that there is a very, very good balance, a fusion between artists from especially South Africa and also here. And our vision is that it grows into a very international, festival.
Mlalazi says the event has been made free for the public through the support of partners. The festival will feature performances from South African gospel star Domim Kokstad, renowned a cappella group One Small Six, local gospel musician Tekshua Zamangube, alongside host Everton Mlalazi.
The news will now take another break, returning with sport.
Hundreds of battles fought across the continent by the princes of Europe. But history doesn't care who almost won. It only remembers the name on the trophy.
Where does football go from here?
One night to decide it all on the ultimate stage, 30th of May. Stay connected and watch DSTV to catch the UEFA Champions League final. It's on.
Cicada unlocks EU financing and EU Zimtrade partnership benefits, thus enabling Isaac's farming business to flourish.
Kuminda benefits from EU Zimtrade partnerships, backing Taku's career, ensuring export quality.
2 hustles, 1 outcome. Everyone levels up together. From farms to cold rooms to global shelves, skills and teamwork are opening new paths every day. Stories of progress, wins worth celebrating.
Welcome back. Let's now take a look at sport. Chicken Inn coach Tonderai Ndira is bracing for an emotional reunion with defending champions Scotland when the two teams clash in a Castle Lugger Premier Soccer League showdown at Barbourfields Stadium this Saturday.
11 days after facing former club Simba Bora, Ndira comes up against another of his former employers in Scotland. The veteran coach guided both Simba Bora and Scotland to Premier Soccer League titles before joining Chicken Inn earlier this season. Despite parting ways with Scotland, Ndira says he remains grateful for the opportunity to have led the club while insisting his focus is now on delivering results for Chicken Inn.
We are preparing very well. It's a very important game for us. We are playing at home.
Chicken Inn head into the tie looking to bounce back from the defeat to FC Platinum, while Scotland continue their push near the top of the table. The Gamecocks have also been boosted by the return of midfielder George Majika from injury, while Brighton Makopa and Brendan Rendo are back in contention as well. Elsewhere in matchday 14 fixtures, Herentals host Simba Bora at Rufaro Stadium. Agama face ZPC Karib at Wadzanai, while Ngezi Platinum Stars take on Bulawayo Chiefs at Baobab Stadium. On Sunday, FC Hunters played Tier 1. Log leaders Hard Rock clash with Dynamos, while Manica Diamonds host Highlanders at Sakuba Stadium. The round concludes with a potentially explosive clash between Capes United and FC Platinum at Rufaro Stadium. Mtokozi Stube, ZPC News, Bulawayo.
The Zimbabwe Netball Association has unveiled a formidable 15-member squad for the prestigious Telkom Netball Tournament in South Africa next week.
Leading the charge is the Progress Moyo, who makes a highly anticipated return to the national setup after a 2-year absence. The Harare City Queens center and wing attack will captain the side, bringing experience and renewed determination to a squad brimming with the youthful talent. She will be assisted by goalkeeper Tanaka Makusha and all-rounder Nicole Mzaninamo.
It's very important. It's our build-up towards the 2027 World Cup, and also we have Africa World Cup qualifiers coming up in September. So this is part of our preparations. We have new players in the squad because the Zambezi Eagles is the junior team for the Gems. That's where we get players to go up play for the senior team. So this helps them to build confidence, gain experience.
The most compelling narrative is the graduation of goal attacker Ruvimbo Pondiwa from the youth ranks into the Zambezi Eagles squad, marking another important transition from the junior development pathway into the senior feeder team. The move is viewed as a critical step towards earning a place in the Zimbabwe netball team.
I'm improving. It makes me happy to graduate from my young side when
Zambezi Eagles will take part in the Division 1 Power Week 2 from the 22nd to the 31st of this month. The Telkom tournament is one of the premier netball competitions on the African tournament. It offers Zimbabwe invaluable exposure to high-caliber opposition, tactical diversity, and the intensity of international competition. The campaign carries even greater significance as it forms a critical part of Zimbabwe's build-up towards the African Netball World Cup qualifiers scheduled for September in Kenya. Meanwhile, the Zimbabwe Netball Association has secured a $90,000 United States sponsorship from Caledonia Minor ahead of the Telkom Challenge. Anna Shembrombedzi, ZBC News, Harare.
From soccer to netball and back to soccer, where Zimbabwe has been handed a fair assignment in the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier after a draw conducted this Tuesday at CAF headquarters in Egypt.
The Warriors will battle it out against the two-time African champions, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Sierra Leone, and Equatorial Guinea in Group E. World Cup-bound DRC headlined the group with the two AFCON titles to their name, although the Leopards last lifted the Continental Crown in 1974. The Warriors will, however, take confidence from their recent meetings against the DRC after collecting 4 points in their last two encounters. Zimbabwe will also have to contend with Equatorial Guinea, who failed to score at the last AFCON tournament but has previously reached the semi-finals of the competition. The group is completed by Sierra Leone, who have managed just one win in their 3 AFCON appearances. The qualification campaign is set to begin in September, with the matches continuing during the October and November international windows. The top 2 teams from the 12 groups will secure places at the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations finals to be staged in East Africa. Meanwhile, the Minister of Sport, Recreation, Arts and Culture, Lieutenant General retired Anselm Sanyatwe this Tuesday, sent over the local contingent of the Warriors, challenging the players to represent the nation with pride, while also highlighting how Zimbabwe Football Association is playing its part in advancing sports diplomacy. The Warriors are set to compete at the Unity Cup in England.
As government, we fully appreciate the strategic role that sports plays in international diplomacy. Football has become one of the most influential instruments for building bridges between nations, fostering mutual understanding and projecting positive national identity. Our participation in this tournament, therefore, carries immense diplomatic, cultural and economic significance. We are especially delighted that the Unity Cup returns to the valley in South London, the historic home of Carlton Athletic Football Club.
The local contingent leaves this Wednesday and will be based in Birmingham before moving to London on the 24th of May.
Up next, the weather, courtesy of the Meteorological Services Department.
Hello, World Cup. It's time for your weather news. Let's look at what transpired today. It started off clear across much parts of the country today, except for Matabeleland South, which was cold, and as a result, we had slight ground frost in Gwanda district. While to the northeast, we had mostly cloudy conditions prevailing. As the day progressed, we had partly cloudy and mild conditions prevailing all of the afternoon in most areas. And tonight, we're expecting cold temperatures over Matabeleland South in parts of Masvingo province as our field of moisture shifts further northeast, while we're expecting partly cloud conditions over the central parts extending into the northeastern parts of the country. Tomorrow, generally, Cool conditions over the southern half of the country, where we are still expecting some windy conditions from the southeast. Brief cloudy periods over the northern half of the country, chances of showers in places. Bulawayo cool at first, becoming warm by the afternoon, clearing for Thursday. Matopo slightly lower temperatures for Thursday morning, as we're expecting some cool winds from the southeast. Cloudy as we get into Friday onwards. Moving on, Uganda, partly cloudy conditions, some clearing over the southern parts of the country, though it should be cool at first, becoming warm by the afternoon. Gweru as well, clearing on Thursday. We're expecting some more sunshine. Cold at first, becoming warm by the afternoon throughout the forecast period. Some temperature drop on Friday. The Masvingo as well, brief cloudy periods throughout the forecast period, though cool at first and towards the evening. Afternoons should feel mild. Same applies for Mutare. Mild afternoon conditions, getting cloudy from Thursday onwards. Cold in the morning and at night. Nyanga as well. Some cloud breaks on Thursday, though it should be very cold in the morning with mild afternoons, as well as for Marondra. Cloudy conditions from Friday onwards, as we're still expecting some flood of moisture from the southeast. Harare, cloudy Wednesday, brief cloudy periods. Kadoma as well, cool morning conditions and warm afternoons towards the forecast period. It should get cold towards the evening in Chinhoyi, though it should be warm during the afternoons throughout the forecast period. Victoria Falls, mostly sunny for Wednesday, getting cloudy from Thursday onwards, as we are getting some flood of moisture into the country. Lupani as well, cool morning conditions and warm afternoons are expected throughout the forecast period. Pintura, cold morning conditions and warm afternoons with some light winds here and there. Kariba area, partly cloudy for Wednesday, getting sunny from Thursday onwards. Mild in the morning, becoming warm by the afternoon. That's all weather news. Thank you for tuning in. Stay safe, keep warm, especially during the early hours of the day and at night. Good night.
Well, that caps tonight's news. My name is Sibiele Maposa. Special thank you to Susan for interpreting the bulletin. We thank the technical team behind the scenes as well. To you, good evening and good night.